What's happening, YouTube? This is Shiz Network here, back again with yet another video. Today we're going to take a look at Jacky Bryant, who is the easiest character in Virtua Fighter because he is a all-around. He's a very, I would say he is a very good, well-rounded character. Like, there's other characters in the game that's also very well-rounded. You got characters like, you know, John Cujo, who's very, very all-around and stuff like that. Then you got Brad Burns and everything. You got El Blaze, Pai Chan, Lu Chan. You know what I mean? You got all those characters, but Jacky has always been regarded as like the easiest character because he leaves a lot of headroom for improvement and everything. So like, if you've never played Virtua Fighter before, I would highly recommend this character because he has a lot of quick kicks in his arsenal. And he can force his opponents onto the back foot, and he's very good with pressure and everything. He's a very, very safe character to use. He might be a little bit tricky when you pick him up the first time, but once you learn the basic fundamentals of this character, you're pretty much on the verge of mastering the fundamentals of Virtua Fighter. So today we're going to take a look at him, and this is going to be great too because I've mained this character for years. So we're going to take a look and see what he's like. Now just keep in mind, I'm not pro level at the game. I'm just going off from my experience, you know what I mean? I just want to share you guys my personal knowledge on the character and everything like that. Hopefully this does turn out pretty good. Just make sure that if you guys enjoy this guide and everything, just make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that way you guys will be notified for when I upload new videos and when I do live streams. But with that being said, we're going to get down to the very nitty gritty, alright? So first off, I want to take a look at some of his short pokes. Alright, so let's just follow along, okay? Let's follow along with me, which will be good. So we're just going to take a look at some of his short range stuff. First off, you got his basic neutral PP stance right there, which is -6 on block and everything. Then you got, let's see, we got 6 PP. That's also -6 on block, which is good. So these are some good pokes to use right here. What I recommend you do is that you kind of separate them, because what you can do is that you can actually do PP into 6 PP. You can do that, but keep in mind that it can be interrupted. And let's not forget too that if you do 6 PPP, see how unsafe that is on block? That's -16. That's -16 frames on block. So you don't want to do 6 PP, 6 PPP. You don't want to do that because that's -16 on block. So you don't want to do that. So, let's see what else we got. We also got neutral PK. His neutral P is +2 on block. It's just a momentary hit stun. Not very useful. And then you got, let's see, PK. Alright, so we got PK, which is -4 on block, which is good. Let's see, we got 4P. -1 on block, so it's practically neutral on hit, which is good. Let's see what else we got. All right, and let's see, we got 2-3P. 2-3P. That's -6 on block as well. The startup is a little average, but I would say that it's still a decent move, but the startup is just pretty average. One thing I can tell you, though, is that it does launch on counter hit. So if you do want to do a combo on counter hit, this would be your go-to right here. This would be your go-to. So as far as pokes go, as far as short range pokes, as far as I'm concerned goes, you got PP, and you got PK, and you got 6 PP, and you also got no, that's actually terrible. Okay. So, yeah, you got PP. So, I would say PP and 6 PP and PK are just a handful of good pokes that you can use. Now, there are some other pokes that I do want to discuss too. Let's see. We got that one right there. That's 1P right there, which is a low hit. It's -1 on hit. Let's see how much that is on block. Let's see. We can do that there. Yeah, most of the time, most beginner players will not block low, so this is a really, really good poke to use. And the recovery time is, even though the recovery time is pretty average, it's not very unsafe, so it doesn't seem like it's very unsafe. So that can be a very, very good one to use. And the best part is that you can actually do 1P into K, so that would be 1 PK right there. So if by any chance like the player does end up blocking low, they would also have to watch out for the high kick. That's the only problem though, is that like if you do the kick, you're gonna have to watch out for that, because like if they do block low, the kick is gonna go right over them, so they can literally just launch punish you from there. So just be careful when you do that. Most of the time, I would just recommend that you just do just 1P, only because you know, Jacky does recover from it, and he doesn't have to worry about the possibility of them, like, you know, he doesn't have to worry about the possibility of being launch punished whenever he whiffs the kick. So that would be definitely your go-to right there. So far as pokes go, you got PP, which is -6 on block. Then you got PK, which is -4 on block, and then you got 6 PP, which is also -6 on block. All right, so and then you also got what we already just said it, 1P, which is -1, but that's only on hit though. But the frames of the move is I can't remember what the frames is. I believe it's -5, -6 on block, I believe, when it's blocked low. There's other lows that are very unsafe when they're blocked. Like, for instance, you got his, like, for example, you got his, that's his 1K plus G, which is that's unsafe when it's blocked low. So just be mindful of that, but it's still a very good low attack. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that later. I just want to focus on some of his safe range pokes. That's the only thing I want to focus on right now. So we already got some of his pokes out of the way. There's other pokes that he also has, which is 4P right there. That's -1 on block. So there you go. You got some of those. All right. So the next one that we got, which is this one right here, which is 3K. It's -6 on block. And let's not forget also, he also has 2K, right, which is what this move is. It's a low attack, a very simple low attack. It doesn't have as much reach as some of Jacky's other low attacks, but it does have decent range, and it is -6 on hit. It is -6 on hit as well as on block, which is good. So we got that out of the way. All right. So what else am I forgetting? Okay. So as far as like what to do, like at this range right here, that's what you would find that's what you would want to do. You could do that, and let's not forget also, like if you ever do his PP into 4P. What you can do from there is that you can do like his little motion check. You can literally do his little side slide shuffle right from there, so that you can kind of like go to the side, like a little side step and everything, and just throw off your opponent with like whatever setups you got. So it's like at this magnitude, Jacky right here would be in control of what he can do. So yeah, and then also when he does the side shuffle, if you hit PP, it is -8 on block too. So even though it's not the safest move to use, it can definitely throw off an opponent who might expect you to be very unsafe right after you do the side slide shuffle. So you can literally just hit the PP right after you do the side shuffle, just to throw them off. So yeah, it's a very, very, very good tool to use in order to throw off your opponent. So that's good. All right. So and then we already established that 3K, it's -6 on block, which is a good poke. Here's another good poke right here. 4K. 4K is also another good poke because it has fast startup. It's got fast recovery, and it's -5 on block as well. So there you go. That's a good move for pressure. Very, very good move for pressure. So there's a lot of setups you can do with these pokes here. And here's another poke right here that I forgot. So you got 2P right here. 2P. 2P is -5 on block. It does hit low. It does have a little hit stun right there. It does have some decent range to it, which is impressive. So you would find yourself using those moves. So just neutral PP, 6 PP, 2P, what is it? 2-3P? Yeah, 2-3P. As far as his punch goes, those are some good pokes. And then you also have 4P which is also a very good poke for him to use. As far as kicks go, you just want to be very careful with the kicks. If you do neutral KK, that's very unsafe because it's minus 15 on block. Because you see how long it takes for Jacky to recover from that move. So yeah, that's very unsafe. So don't use that unless it's like in a combo or something like that, or unless you're certain that it's gonna hit. Or just, I would say, avoid it altogether. But as far as kicks go, you got 4K right here. You got 4K, 2K, 3K, and what else we got? No, that's 6K right there. You want to avoid that. That's a launcher, but it's unsafe on block. It's a good launcher to use, but it's very unsafe on block. So just be careful when you do that move. But we'll get to that. Like I said, we'll get to that later. As far as kicks go, you have those moves, and then you also have PK as well. Both of them hit high, and it's minus 4 on block. So those are the pokes that I can say for sure that Jacky would be good with. And like I said, as far as low pokes go, you got 1P, which is minus 1 on hit. So it's a good one. And keep in mind that he can go right into the kick, but just be mindful that any good player who blocks low and reads this move will block it low and launch punish you. So just be careful when you throw that move out. You will have come across those players who are just like who are just that good. You know what I mean? So now that we discussed his pokes, now we should discuss some of his command moves that I would personally recommend only because of how you can use them. Like I said, this is just my particular playstyle and everything, but I'm also giving you some general tips on the character. Some of those pokes that I was addressing are definitely like really good pokes to use with the character, especially when you're pressuring them. But there's also some other pressure tools that we can use. So we already discussed the basic pokes, so let's discuss some of the command moves that you can also do. So first we have 2PK, 2P plus K, which is this move right here. The startup is pretty average. And the recovery is also average, but what makes this move really effective is that it's plus frames. It's plus 1 on block, and the best part is that Jacky can actually go right back and do his little slide shuffle. So when he does that, he's in control of the pressure. Like when you do that move in any pressure situation, if you find yourself in any like pressure situation, like Jacky can be in control of the pressure right there, because you see how like when he does the slide shuffle, I hit P right after that, because the P from the slide shuffle is also plus on block. It's also plus 1 frame. So he can literally continue the pressure. And if by any chance your opponent's up against the wall, this is what you do. If you find yourself in a situation where like you're pressuring them with 2P plus K, you can do that and go right into a command grab. And if by any chance they do end up bouncing on the wall, it does do more damage. So yes, Jacky can be in control of whatever he does right there. You know what I mean? So like if you're in a situation where you're up against the wall, you could do that. You could do the 2 right there. Here, let's try to reset the position real quick. So up against the wall right there, you do 2P plus K right there, back. And then you do 6-6, and then you do 6-6 P plus G, which is Jacky's grab where he runs off the wall, and then he does like a little bulldog on you, which does 70 damage. So this is especially a good pressure tool when up against the wall, because Jacky will be in control of the situation, and the player would have to guess like what move is he gonna throw out. Like, is he gonna throw out a low, or is he gonna grapple or whatever? Like, the player who's being pressured by him would have to come up with all kinds of like solutions on how to get out of that pressure. You know what I mean? So this is a very, very good pressure move to use. This is actually a very good pressure setup to use, actually. If you do the kick version, it's minus 4 on block, and it does push back, so it is pretty safe as well. So if by any chance that's the thing, because that's the only trouble, is that like if you do the slide shuffle into the P, you see how the range on it is not that impressive. If you want to rectify that, do the K because that does have a lot of range to it. So, and like I said, it is -4 on blocks, so it's very, very, very safe. So the only time I would ever recommend you ever use the P is if you are pretty close to the opponent. Like, relatively, it's in a position where, like, they're up against a wall, I would say. Because, like I said, since it's plus on block, the player would have to keep, the opposite player would have to keep blocking. Because they're not going to recover as much. If anything, like, when a plus frame move happens, that means that the offensive player can still throw out another move. And in this case, if they're up against the wall and you do that, they can literally just do a grapple on you since they're up against that wall right there, since you're still relatively close. And you got to keep in mind, the grapples in this game do have a very decent hitbox in this game compared to most fighting games. But that's really all there is to it. So when it comes to pressure, this move right here, his 2P plus K is definitely a very good pressure tool, especially since Jacky will be in control of the situation, especially if he does the P. Because he can literally just do anything that he could. He can literally mix you up with a low or a grab. So those are the kind of setups you will want to use with Jacky. Now, his neutral P plus K, on the other hand, is -10 on block. So this is a move that I really would not do. There's actually a couple ways where you can make this safe. If you do P plus K into P, you can make that. You can nullify the unsafe nature of the move, and make it safe by making it -6 on block. And what do I mean by this? So P plus K, as we already established, is -10 on block. But if you do P right after that, it's -6 on block. You get what I'm saying? So you can literally make this safe. And notice how, like, when you hit the move, when the opponent is blocking, they kind of go down with it, so they're practically getting stunned by that move. So it's like you could still add in another move if you want to. Alternatively, also, you can also do P plus K into K. It does push back on block, and it's -7. And the best part is that it's another one of the moves where Jacky can also do the side shuffle. If you don't know how to do the side shuffle, basically what happens is that if you do any of Jacky's moves where he can actually do it, like, say, for example, let's see, 4P. Let's see, like, hold on a second. Actually, no, I got a better idea. K plus neutral, K plus G. That's one of them. All you have to do is hold back. That's all you have to do. All you have to do is hold back. Because if you read Jacky's command list, there's a lot of moves on here that he has where he can go into the side shuffle. Into the slide shuffle. I'm sorry. The side slide shuffle is when he kind of sidesteps. But, like, the slide shuffle is his evasion. You can also do that by pressing back and pressing P plus K plus guard at the same time. Otherwise, I would say 4P plus K plus G, which is that. So it's crucial that you memorize that because that's going to play a major role into the playstyle of Jacky. So you want to memorize that as much as you can, okay? There's a lot of moves that he has on here where he actually can go into the slide shuffle. So it's very crucial that you study that. Like I said, 2P plus K, which is the chopping blow. That's one of the moves where he can go into the slide shuffle. So make sure you study this. You study his moves where he can jump back. You know what I mean? So make sure you study that because there's a lot of moves that he has where he can go right into the slide shuffle. All right, so with P plus K, now with PK and P, that's -6 on block. And if you do the kick version, that's -9 on block, and it does push backs because it's an EX high, so it does give the opponent a little hit stun. And as I said, it's also one of the moves where he can do the slide shuffle. So you can kind of do that and step back a little bit, and there's a chance that the player might try to zone in on you. So you can either go for P or K. So you can literally do anything you can. The only reason I would recommend you do K is because you can clearly see how much range it has, and it's -4 on blocks. So I would probably recommend that the most, because you can almost guarantee that if like the player is like in the distance that they're in right now, you can hit them. Even if you don't get a hit on them, it doesn't matter, because you're safe from the frames of the move. So it's like at that point you're good. You know what I mean? So definitely practice this. I would mostly recommend 2P plus K, which is his chopping blow. I would most recommend that, because as far as pressure goes, you can easily do a lot of setups with this one. See, there's so many setups that you can do with that. Alright, so now that we got that out of the way here we go. Let's see. See, we got 3P. That's another good poke, actually. It's high. Now, as far as his low attacks, I'm going to discuss his low attacks real quick. His low attacks, as I said before, some of them are very hit or miss. So he doesn't really have too much low attacks that are, I would say, are the most impressive. But like some of his low attacks are very good for keeping pressure and mixing up your opponent and stuff like that. So let's see what we got. Let's see. Trying to remember what it is. So first off, let's discuss one of his first lows, which is 1K plus G. -4 on hit. It's got decent startup. Just be careful when throwing out this move, because it's -15 on block. So this move is very unsafe. But if you're fighting against a player who doesn't block low, this is a very good low attack to use. All right. Alternatively, you can also do 2K, which is one of the posts that we discussed earlier. Because like I said, it does have decent range, and this one is relatively safer than 1K plus G. So it's literally all just a matter of preference. And then we already discussed 1P, which is also a low. So we already discussed that. Now, if you want a decent mix-up tool as far as hitting low and stuff like that, what you can do is that you can do 4P into 1P. So that would be 4P, 1P. This 4P, 1P right there. Very good, very, very good selection of attacks to use right there. It's a very good mix-up tool because, like I said, if you do 4P, that's -1 on block. So you can mix up the opponent any way you can, and not only that, but if you hit the low, it's +1 on hit. So you can keep so you can literally just keep the pressure going if you wanted to. You can literally just keep the pressure going if you wanted to. So that's another good low attack to use. It's also a very decent mix-up tool. So as far as other lows is concerned, the only other low that he does have is his K plus G, which is right after you hit the first one. If you hit the neutral one, it's -8 on block. So it's a decent attack to use. But it's also pretty predictable, so I wouldn't recommend it, because anybody can literally spam that. Anybody can literally spam that to death, because there's not really that much hit stun when they do block the neutral K plus G. So I really would not recommend using this move that much, only because it can be very predictable, and not only that, but it's also a very basic stinger for not stinger. What's the word I'm looking for? It's a very common. There's a word I'm looking for. I just can't think of it right now. It's basically a very basic combo for Jacky, and it's very, very predictable, especially for those who know the matchup. So I would not recommend that one. As far as low attacks go, 1K plus G, 1P, all right, and then 4P, 1P. because that's a good mix. Even though the first hit is not a low, just remember that if you hit this version of the move as opposed to 1P, it's +1 on block. So yes, the properties of both the moves are actually different. The properties of the move is very different compared to just the standard 1P, because that's -1 on hit, whereas 4P 1P is +1 on hit. So those are, and then we also have 2K, which is -6 on hit. And as I said, it does travel pretty far. So these are some really good low attacks. So these are some really good low attacks to use. Okay? So as far as low attacks go, that's really it. Now as far as grapples go, you know, Jacky does have some really good grapples. Let's be real here. He does have some really good grapples here. If there's any that I would recommend you do, I would definitely recommend 6-4 P plus K. K plus G, I'm sorry. Yeah. 6-4 P plus G. Because that does 60 damage. So make sure you practice that input, because basically it's forward back. It's basically forward back. So I would recommend you really learn that move before you hop online and stuff like that, because command grapples in this game, I'm not even gonna lie to you, do take some time to memorize and everything because of how complex they are. So, you know, just be careful when you do this, okay? His 4-6 P plus G is also a really good grapple, because that also does 60 damage. It's a 3-hit. It's a 3-hit grapple, and it does 60 damage. So that's also another good one. All right, and then you also have his he also have his 3 P plus G, which is 40 damage. So I wouldn't recommend that one all that much, because I'm sure you're probably thinking, what are the best grapples that Jacky has? Like the absolute best. So yeah, that would be one of them. And then you also have 6-6 P plus G, which does 50 damage, which is also 3 hits. So really, just these 3 grapples alone is what I would recommend you would use with Jacky, because they do the most damage, if anything. So as far as throw attacks go, there you go. You pretty much have them right there. So as far as combos go, there's not. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's not much I know about him as far as combos are concerned. The only thing I can tell you though is that he does have some really good combos. If there's one combo that I do know with him, this one is the easiest combo right here. You go into 6K, and then you go right into his, KPPPP. Yeah, you do the P 4 times, and then you do K again to finish it off. It's basically a 5-hit combo for him. That's basically what that is. The only time I would ever recommend you would use this combo string, since it's relatively unsafe on block, is if you're doing it in a combo like this one. That does 68 damage. So it's a very decent combo. He does have other combos that he can do in his arsenal. What I would mostly recommend you do is just get used to the way he plays and all that stuff before you try going for any combos. But like, if you do want a very basic combo that you can practice with him, this would be that combo. Right, this would be that combo. So that would be 6K into his KPPP. Yep. Yeah, into KPPP. Yep, so that's what I would recommend you do. So that's really everything I have to say about Jacky. It's more like a quick guide and everything. Like I said, it's not really like my guides are not very professional, I'm not even gonna lie. Just give you guys my overview of the character and just to kind of like help out with the character guides on YouTube for Virtua Fighter Ultimate Showdown. If there's any other additional tips that I want to give you for Jacky Bryant, is, as far, like I said, we already discussed some of the pressures that you can do with him. I actually do kind of want to discuss a little bit more on the pressure game that you can do with him, because like I said, Jacky can play so many mind games with the tools that he's got. Like I said, we already discussed his 2P+K, which is his chopping one right there. So let's go back into, so let's make sure that Sarah's blocking again. Let's make sure she's blocking. So there's so many things that you can do as far as pressuring with Jacky and everything. You know, I'm still trying to get more and more. I'm trying to get more and more used to his pressure game. It's been a while since I played him, admittedly, because I haven't played with Jacky since Final Showdown was out, if I'm being honest. But if there's any pressuring game that you should do, you always want to make sure that you try mixing up with lows and everything. You could try going for. You could try going for his 4P. Definitely go for 4K as well. That's good. Always make sure you utilize the exact same pokes that I told you guys earlier in the guide video, because those pokes will definitely help out with the pressure game. They always help out with the pressure game, so always utilize your pokes. So, like, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you use his chopping game right here, always utilize the pokes. The pokes are your best friends. And always make sure that you utilize your command grapples as well. I don't really have any specific setups and stuff because, you know, I just need a little bit more experience and everything before I start talking about that. Hopefully, once I do get more and more used to this character, I will actually make a whole guide video where I discuss some of the pressure things that you can, you know, some of the pressure tools that you can use with Jacky. For now, I really pretty much only gave you the introduction to this character, if anything. I gave you some tools that you can use. Now, I do want to discuss, there are some things I do want to address before I stop this, so that way I don't have to come back and make a whole nother video to address it again, which is some of the stuff that he can do in the slide shuffle. There's a ton of moves that he can do that goes right into that. His PPK is one of the few moves that can go into the slide shuffle. See, no, we don't want to use that right there. His 6 PPK is also goes right into it. And an additional fact, his 6 PPK is -8 on block. So just want to throw that out there. But that's also one of the many moves where he can do that. Then you got P plus K into K. P plus KK. That's also part of the slide shuffle. His chopping game is also goes right into it. We already discussed that. So those are a handful of moves that I would recommend you would use into his slide shuffle. As far as his side slide shuffle, because that's the side step. Let's see. First off, we got PP, which we already discussed is one of his safe pokes. That can go right into it. If you don't know how to do the side slide shuffle, you basically have to hit either 2 or 8. 2 or 8 P plus K plus G. So it's crucial that you get used to hitting that command the moment he hits these moves. So that's one of the moves that has it. That's another thing that he also can do. His chopping game not only does the slide shuffle, but also goes into the side slide shuffle as well. And remember, when you do the side slide shuffle, you can hit a PP to stun and throw off your opponent, because they would fully expect you to be unsafe by the time you complete the animation of the side step. that one doesn't seem to really go into it. Let's see. So yeah, you got PP, 6 PP into a side slide shuffle, 6 PP, side slide shuffle, chopping game, side slide shuffle. So there you go. Those are just a few moves I would recommend you would use with both of those moves. Just practice getting down the commands to pull off the side slide shuffle. It's really not hard to do the slide shuffle because all you have to do is just hold back the whole time. Right after he completes, when he completes a move, that's all you have to do. But that's all you can do. But with the side slide shuffle, you actually have to hit an entire command in order to pull it off. It's a very evasive tool to use to throw off your opponent. So it's crucial that you master this move. It's crucial that you master this. That you master that evasive side step because it will be your best friend. I'm telling you. So make sure you get used to that, and hopefully that'll be a very good introduction on how to play the character. I hope this guide at least was good enough to give you guys a decent introduction on how to use the character. If there's anything that I'm wrong about, I'm always open to being corrected and everything because there are people who do know more about the game than I do. And keep in mind, this is the very first time that I've ever done a fighting game guide. So obviously this video is not going to be the best when it comes to fighting game guides and stuff like that, because this is literally my very first time doing any guides on any fighting game. So just be so if you guys have anything or any criticism that you want to give to me or anything like that, just keep it civil in the comments. I would very much appreciate that. Hopefully it would also leave more room to improve on these guide videos in the future. Because I would love to do other fighting game guides as well, where I kind of give everyone my overview of some of these characters and stuff like that. Because, like I said, I only go off of the knowledge that I know with the characters. I usually don't try and copy other people's style or information about said characters or anything like that. I just literally go off of what everyone says. I mean, I usually go off of what on what I'm seeing with the character, but that's all I can tell you. I don't like to copy other people's style, but hopefully you guys have given me that chance, and I appreciate that for being severely patient with me. With that being said, like I said, if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you guys hit that like button and set that subscribe and notification bell so that way you can get more videos like this. And I will see you guys next time. Take good care.